Hi, I'm Mike, and this is an intro. Alright, what we got here is going to be a little different. For one, this isn't Magic. It's not Netrunner, and it's certainly not Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I never really figured out how to play. Instead, this is going to be a brand new game that just came out, I think, within the last year. Force of Will, specifically a how-to video. I'm going to be looking at the one deck I got that I'm actually kind of proud of. I'm not going to show the deck yet, that'll be a different video, but this one is going to be working on how Faria, the Sacred Queen, works. Specifically, this is how you play Force of Will. To start out, this game, all of this, it is so much like... Ooh, camera shaking. Weird. It is so much like Magic that I will slip into the wrong terms. And I'm not even going to care because they are functionally identical in many ways. The big ways they're not, though, is, for instance, you have a commander, you're a ruler, even says it right here. Do I get it? Yeah, you can kind of see that. Is that good? Right there. It says ruler down here. What this character does is basically, it's similar to Commander in Magic. Hers has her abilities, and you use them. The difference is, you can also pay that, and you flip her over to have another ability, and she becomes a creature. Unlike in Magic, though, where you just can continually recast them when they die, when this lady dies, she stays dead. That's it. She's useless. All abilities are considered useless. She's buffed back to this side, her ruler side, and she's put back here, and you pretty much ignore her for the rest of the game. Her abilities are no longer useful. Which makes a finite nature in the usefulness, so you have to play around them a little more useful. Or carefully, I guess. But that's the main difference. Now let's get into the deck itself. To play this game, first off, you start by drawing 5 cards from your main deck. Yeah, it's a little hard to... that's 4. That's... 3, 4. Let's pretend I mathed right. You draw 5 cards. Usually you hold them right side up. That usually helps. Now you might notice there are no lands or mana or anything that would produce energy, which is in this game. But they do require it. The symbols you find right up here. This one requires 4 will, which is the equivalent of mana or lands in Magic, and 4 colorless, or anything you want to pay into it. Now, you might see a problem with this. There are no anything to provide that in this hand. That's because... Butterfingers. As you might see, there are 2 decks down here. That is completely intentional. This is called the Land or Will deck. Now, normally you wouldn't turn it face up, but it doesn't really matter. Mine is all light mana stones. Each of these stones, or magic stones... I'm probably going to slip in and call them lands or mana. I'm just going to do that for certain. You don't ever have to worry about being stone screwed. Yeah, see, I got the right term. Because you have a separate deck, and every turn you get to tap your ruler. Sorry, the correct term is rest your ruler by tapping them sideways, and you put 1 stone directly into the field. Specifically, you have a little stone area right next to it. And you can use it right off the bat. And every turn you untap it, or restore, and then you can do it again to get another one. You can do it once a turn. And of course, as in all card games, if there's a card that contradicts it, go with the card. But, you know, that's every card game at this point. So, to play out a quick early hand, you start with this. This is an okay hand. Has a dragon in it. I like dragons. Dragons are big. I like it. Now, you might notice something about the cards. See how there's like this little number down here? It says 400, 1200, another 1200. Huh. Weird. It's all big numbers, and it is pretty much functionally useless zeros. They have, to this point, have no use on the game. They are there just to look cool and make the cards seem more powerful. They do nothing. So if you just drop this guy, call him a 4-drop 2-2, or 2-drop 4-4, that's accurate, because that's pretty much what it is. And this guy's a 5-drop 12-12, which is nice. That might seem overpowered, especially since his abilities are kind of stupid. And you're right, that is very good. 12 for 5 is good. And then you have the enchantments, which in this game are called additions, specifically Addition Field. They're the equivalent of enchantments. You put them out, but unlike in Magic, where enchantments just can be stacked up to all get out, you can only have 2 fields at a time, and they can only have different names. You can have 4 of them in a deck, which is similar, but you... I haven't heard that. Sorry about that. Fields editions, you put one out. You have that. You could put another one out with the same name, but that's it for fields. You also have edition resonator, and those are treated pretty much like equipment or auras. You put it on a creature, you use it, and when they die, it goes away. Simple as that. With me so far? Let's see. I'm going to play up a quick hand just to show you what's what. Now, I've drawn my 4. Or 5. I got a Chant standby spell here. So, I'm going to tap my J ruler, specifically on the ruler side, put 1 in, and then I will do nothing, because even though this has a cost of 1, Chant standbys, can you see it right here? This is the biggest diversion from, or difference, that's the word, difference from Magic. Instead of having something you can cast flat out, or a spell or sorcery type, Chants are interesting because they have the Chant instant, which you can use at instant speed, at instant times. It's basically the exact same equivalent. They're even called instants. Should be an easy one. And then there's Chants, which are basically sorceries, can only be used on your turn. And then there's standby. These things, well, normally I would make room down here, but my camera can't see it. So for sake of having a small camera range for some reason, I'm going to put it right down here. Now normally I would have to wait a turn. But I'm lazy, so I'm going to say I drew, untapped, did that, got another one. Because with a oh hey, that's a nice spell. But I'll get into that next. What I will do here is I will pay 2. That is not the cost of it. This is a 1 cost. But I'm going to put it standby. I put it face down. There's a special zone, but you can't see it, right? Because it's not enough room on the camera. You have to pay 2. It can be 2 of anything. It doesn't have to be the right color. And it is here. Now, when it's face down, it has a trigger condition. Just going to let that zoom in. Can you see it? This one is that, whenever an opponent, one of the creatures attacks or blocks, you deal 500 damage to that, attacking or blocking resonator, which is the equivalent of a creature in this game. What you need to understand, though, is you do not, under any circumstance, need anything to pay for it. That 1 mana symbol, this 1 will symbol right up here, the white one, that is for reference only. You at no point will ever put anything into that. If you have used up all your energy down here, they're tapped out, rested, whatever, that's fine, because that has no effect on a Chant standby. This is the most important and biggest elusive aspect of this game that nobody explains. When you have this symbol is a reference. I have 2 white stones down there, which means I can use this because I just have to possess the stones. I don't have to use them, I just have to have them. If this thing had 1 of each color, as long as I had 1 stone that could produce each color, I would be completely fine, and I can just use it, as long as the trigger condition is met. To use it, you just flip it over when the trigger is met and say, hey, I'm using this. And you just have to have the ability to cast it if you weren't using it from standby. That's it. That's all there is to it. They are basically the perfect traps because you know for a fact that you're not going to put anything into that. As long as you have a nice base of stones that you can cover this cost, you're fine because you're not actually paying it into it. It is such an interesting little bit of this game, and I've seen so few people really break it to the extent that it just deserves. Because it isn't something that translates as quickly from Magic into this game. But it is such an interesting mechanic. You put it down, someone attacks, you use it. Now that's just this card. There are other cards with different conditions. This one just has an attack condition. I've seen others where, creatures or resonators enter, destroying something, having to tap things. There's a whole range, and each of them have their own triggers. Some require a cost of will that you actually have to pay on top of having just a certain baseline before you can use it. But that's that. Now beyond that, let's see. The easiest way to say it from here on out would be that, deck construction. It's 40 cards, minimum, 60 max. Yeah, there's actually a max amount. And just like Magic, you can only have 4 copies of each cards. So far in the English variant, there is no banned, no restricted list. That will probably change as the game gets bigger. But at the moment when I'm putting this video out, that is the case. There is no ban list, there is no restricted, and there's a lot of really good cards. seriously, anything with a fairy tale in the block is really good. Get those sets. They're freaking insane. Freaking fairy tales. Ugh. But yeah. All you really need to remember, though, is that the win conditions are also the same as Magic. If someone has 0 life, they lose. If they draw out of their deck and try and draw one more, they lose. And, if you annoy the other person to the point where they cannot stand playing the game any longer, they lose. But that's mostly because they've realized they can't stand playing the game any longer and they're running for the hills. But that's not really a win condition. That's more of a, you horrible, horrible person, why would you do that condition? So yeah, what's left? Oh, and one thing I need to mention. Even though you have a J ruler, which is the flip side, it's the short for justice or judgment ruler. J just sounds cool, I guess. There is no ruler damage rule. When this person does damage, it is just normal damage. There's no special commander type damage rules. So people coming from Commander and Magic and expect that if you do a certain amount of damage with the character, you automatically win or automatically kill the other person, that does not apply. If you want to really buff up the ruler and go on the opponent with that alone, which is a completely valid tactic, I should say, you still need to buff it up and beat every single bit of life points down because there's no special limit. There's no type of poison mechanic in this game. Not yet, at least. Mill decks are a thing. Haven't seen many, but they're a thing. Yeah, mill decks. Not many, thank God. Also, just for a quick reference, and since I'm here, I might as well say it. Green deck is control. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that either. Probably going to stop this one here just because that's the extent of it. Attacking is... Oh God, I almost forgot attacking. This is the other really big thing that you need to know. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to assume I got all this stuff out there. This is in my hand. I got plenty of stones. And I'll just say that these 3 guys are on the... These 3 cards are on the field. It is actually called the field as well. Just like in Magic. Now, unlike in Magic where you declare a Wrath, a mass attack, and then let the opponent choose how to block, this is different, and it is specifically done in such a way that you need to pay attention to this. It is very important. I am making a lot of hand gestures to emphasize this. See? It's a very aggressive hand gesture. You have to choose the order people attack and who they're attacking. For example, if I'm having 3 players go against me, I should probably hand gesture in the screen. You say, okay, I'm going to have, and this is Sir Galahad, the Son of God. Oh, that's a cool name. He will tap and attack. Then, the opponent will choose to either let it hit them, it will either choose to let it hit the creature who is tapped that I'm attacking, and that's the thing, you can choose to attack tapped creatures instead of the opponent, or, well, those are the only 2 choices. They choose to let me hit or they don't, and I can choose to either hit the opponent or the tapped creature. But it's only 1 creature at a time, and there is only 1 person the opponent can have to block. Now let's say this is my opponent's creature. If it was tapped, I can declare my attack against it. That would be stupid because this is bigger than this, and this would kill it. Or this would die, and I don't want that. But if that happens, this has to tap, though, to block it. Or let me rephrase that. If it's tapped, it's tapped. And I can try and do damage, build it up with multiple creatures, and kill it. Which might be worthwhile if it's something I want to have dead. Or, if I'm attacking the player or a creature that's tapped back there, this creature can choose to block. Now, unlike Magic, where that's the end of it, 1, you can only have 1 blocker at a time, and 2, and this is the big one, to block, you have to tap as well. And you cannot block again when you're tapped. When you're tapped, it's just like Magic, you can't block. So not only are you trying to keep in check of how many people you have to attack, but you also have to have blockers. And as soon as you block once, the next person up might just roll over you because you have no one left. There's a lot more going on in just attacking than simple Magic games. Yeah, I said simple Magic, and this is closer to Commander. I know, I'm just being an idiot with that one. Let's pretend Magic's simple. Okay, that lasted for 5 seconds. So yeah, that's the big change there. Other than that, now that you know you can attack tapped creatures, you can attack the player, and you have to go one at a time. But once that's done, okay, this guy's now attacking. I can attack this guy because he's tapped. Or, since this guy has all tapped creatures, I'm assuming, I just go straight to them. Yeah, there's a lot more strategy in the attack phase. Magic, for all its amazing, 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 I'm going to say amazing one more time. It is amazing. Complexities. The attack phase is very straightforward. This game, if you have more than 2 creatures out, it becomes much more intricate because who attacks, in what order, who blocks, and in what order, when, and if you even want to block, that becomes much more important. Of course, there's also the little variants, the cards that do different abilities, but that's individual cards. This is just how to play. For the most part, this is the game. And I am completely addicted to this thing. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helped. If you see anything I missed, please tell me. I'm pretty sure I covered all the really important parts. Yeah, I butchered the mana or the stone curve down here because demonstration. Yes, completely demonstration. Yeah, let's go with that. That's my alibi and I'm sticking to it. But for the main part, this is how the game will look. Although, you know, I'd probably try to play better if I was actually using this deck. Yes, I would always do better. Of course, yes. Alibi! Thank you! Oh crap, I already used that excuse. Damn it. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, comment, and... No, that's it. Later.